Right, now this has the recipe to be one of the best domestic fights of all time. We've all seen them both go at each other at ringside. There's a bit of needle, bit of bad blood, but Willy Hutchinson, Ezra Taylor, great clash of styles that will mix into an absolute war. Now with Willy Hutchinson, we know what he's about. You know, he's a slick fighter, switches stance, great technical ability, and his defense is second to none. Well, when he's not standing in the pocket admiring his work. But you've seen his last fight against Mark Jeffers, the way he just managed his range, fought at bay and didn't give up his range, and mixed in the middle and just dictate the pace and dictate his authority, where Jeffers just couldn't get into the fight. And you'll see that when Jeffer goes and counters him, Willy comes back with a counter of himself, and when he's mixed in the middle, he lands on shots, pivot around, and while Jeffer's about to throw, Willy comes with a left hook of his own. His timing and speed, the way he just gets there first at every punch, that is what's going to win you this fight. So with Willy, it's quite simple as that. But you never know with Willy Hutchinson, he's unpredictable. But this is the Willy that we need to see. The fluid, the movement, the mobile Willy Hutchinson, the one that moves and gets in his groove. Not the one that came up against Craig Richards in the second half of the fight, or the one that fought Lennox Richards back at super middleweight. Lennox Clark, I should say. We don't want that Willy Hutchinson. We want the one that fought Buatsi in spells, the one that fought Craig Richards in the first half of the fight, and the one that outboxed and outworked and out-hustled Mark Jeffers. But you'll see here, parries that jab, then comes back with a right hook of his own. He was 2-3 steps ahead, where there's a reason he was the world amateur champion. But obviously in the pros it hasn't materialized. But he picks his punches well, he lands his shots, and I do believe he will be a world champion at some point. Whether it's now, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years after Bivol and Beterbiev are gone, who knows, but I do believe Willy Hutchinson will be a world champion at some point in his career. So overall, Willy Hutchinson, he's a proper technical fighter, great skill, but you see in the second last fight against Buatsi on the Dubois card, he had good success, landed shots of his own, hurt Buatsi, ruined his rhythm, and done what he needed to do. But he got complacent, where Buatsi, another person who is a solid amateur, good pedigree, he knows how to see through it, where he was capitalized on mistakes where Hutchinson would have his chin up high, push him back, and then he would just hurt him to the body, hurt him where it's weak, where he'd make him withhold the pressure until it was of too much, and he was landing them shots to the ribs for fun. And as you'll see there, he drops Willy there in the 6th round to the body shot, but he came back strong, firing away, momentarily hurting Buatsi at points. He was nicking a few rounds, but Buatsi was coming on strong and winning rounds of his own, and it was a valiant effort. Willy Hutchinson fought amazing, boxed well, outworked him, out-hustled him at times, but overall it was just too much. Buatsi kept breaking him down to the body, ended up dropping him earlier as well as later in the fight with 2 10-8s and a few extra rounds, which gave him the nod on the scorecards. But what does he do? Last 10 seconds, still hurt, goes out swinging like a madman, and he ends up hurting Buatsi again. So Willy Hutchinson, when he's hurt, he is also his most dangerous. Now with Ezra Taylor, you'll see here against Steve Woodhull, you know, someone who, he's a seasoned super middleweight, but fighting that range, fighting with the battle of the jabs, Ezra Taylor does struggle with, where he's more game, more at his best work, I'd say, is in the middle than that range and fighting with jabs, trying to find openings. But against Steve Woodhull, you'll see it took him a while to find them openings. It took him a lot longer than he should have, in my opinion. But you'll see the way he creates an opening, he fakes with the right hand, comes with the left down below. He has very unorthodox ways of throwing and create openings at very awkward angles. But that is something that Willy Hutchinson could struggle with, because someone with a good technical ability and good amateur pedigree, they struggle with unpredictability. I need to stop saying unpredictability, create my own words when I'm filming. But yeah, overall Ezra Taylor, he's a solid fighter, but I do believe he is domestic level at the moment, and I do believe he can go up to the British, Commonwealth, European sort of level. But world level, from what I see, he's a hard hitter. He gives anyone a tough night work, but I do believe he just doesn't have the recipe from what I've seen so far to go all the way. Hopefully I'm wrong, because he is a likable guy and there's nothing wrong about him, but I just do believe there's levels, and I do believe he's thriving at the domestic level. But you'll see when he fought Troy Jones, it was a good learning fight, but he didn't really show signs of upping the work, where he's got that bit of razzmatazz in where I'm like, do you know what? He's got what it takes to go to the next level and go to the top. I haven't seen that yet. Maybe I'm yet to see that, and hopefully I am for his sake. But if I'm completely honest, when he fought Steve Woodall was moving up from super middleweight to light heavyweight. He's not a natural light heavyweight. I'd say he's a bit small at the weight. I don't know, for whatever reason he's gone up to light heavyweight, but I do believe he did thrive at super middleweight. Although he lost to Callum Simpson, he had a few good wins, like against former champ Lerone Richards. But for whatever reason, he probably saw a bigger payday at light heavy and took it, which, in all authority, I don't blame him. But then Ezra Taylor came on strong in the last few rounds, picked his punches, went head body, and although Woodall was still swinging and he was giving him a good go, stayed composed. Ezra landed a few good left hooks, and then of course the corner saw he was taking a bit too much punishment and not throwing the towel to end the fight. But we know he does hit hard. Like when he knocked out this fellow 10 seconds in I should say, jab to the body, make him faint, parries his right hand, comes with a jab of his own, and when he doesn't see it, goes down below, and then right hand over the top, which you'll see there, boom, right on the temple. You see when he threw that right hand, it was a slight little jab to the body. I mean, he didn't land it, but it was a slight feint where it made him slightly drop his hand. So then that's when the right hand opening came, and Ezra capitalized on it, which he can toy and do with his journeyman. But can he do it against Willy Hutchinson? Is Willy Hutchinson too crafty where he can land them counter hooks like that fellow did there? Who knows? But I do believe this has a recipe for an absolute tremendous British domestic dust up. Now, with Ezra Taylor, what he has to do is quite simple: drag the fight on the inside. That is where the fight's going to be won. He's not going to win it on the outside box net range, because Willy Hutchinson will box your ears off. Work the body repetitively. Again, we've seen Willy, he's vulnerable at that position, but he is tough in game, so you need to work the body, but don't be too predictable. You've got to disguise it a bit, and the sneaky uppercuts on the inside, because that is what got Lennox Clark, I should say, the win. Calling everyone different names as well. But with Willy Boy, simple as this: switching stances constantly, be unpredictable, but you got to dictate the pace and tempo of the fight. Get in your groove, box and move, dictate your rhythm, and don't let him ruin it. But shades of the first half of the Craig Richards fight from 1 to 6, the way he boxed beautifully and rocked him as well. That is how you need to fight against Ezra Taylor. If you're going to fight like how he did in the second half of the fight, where he got sloppy, complacent, and a bit tired, that is going to be a recipe for a disaster, because Ezra Taylor hasn't got the technical ability of someone like Spider Richards, but he's got the power. And Hutchinson, we've seen him on deck a few times, and we've seen him hurt before, so he does, as good as he is, he does not have, I'd say, the best chin, but when he got knocked out at super middleweight, he was weight drained, so that is also a big factor. But overall, I think this is an absolute cracking fight. I do believe experience will prevail on the night. I do believe it will be a tough fight, and I'll be honest, the more I play it in my head, I do believe it will be competitive. I do believe Ezra will win rounds. I do believe Willy will win rounds, but I do believe the main man from Scotland, Willy Hutchinson, will get the job done on the night. Whether it's points or knockout, I don't know. I'm going to be playing it safe, and I'm just going to be doing Willy to win outright, because I do believe I can see many outcomes of him win on points. I can see many outcomes of him winning by knockout by landing that shot, but also slowly breaking him down. But it wouldn't surprise me if Willy was boxing his ears off and he gets caught with a punch and Ezra catches him and it's night for him. That would not surprise me. But I do believe the odds, the bookmakers got this perfect. I do have a 60-40 favour for Willy, where they do have him at around 1 to 2 at the time filming this. They might have closed the odds, I'm not sure, but I do believe the odds do symbolise how close this fight is, but who has the slight edge. That is all for today. Hope you enjoyed this fight, a little breakdown, and who I will be betting and backing on. And the most important thing of every video, as always, this ain't financial advice. This is going to be what I'll be betting and backing based off my own research. Have a great day, boys.